everybody, it's Mark, the Family Woodworker. Hey, this week we replace our broken Delta table saw with a Grizzly Model 899. Stick with us for an unboxing and first review. I had a Delta table saw for 4 years, and then the saw elevator bushing just decided to fail.
You can't do that!
When I had issues finding parts for the Delta, I gave up on that design flaw and the saw, and just stripped it for parts. I evaluated the needs of my shop and researched my options, but decided on the Grizzly Model 899. It was $200 off the regular price, though the shipping fees added that money back to the total cost. Compared to retail available options like Jet, Raycon, Laguna, Powermatic, and SawStop, the Grizzly cost me less even with the shipping. It arrived in less than a week, off the back of a semi, and then at the end of my driveway. The driver thankfully offered to roll the pallet up the drive with his pallet jack.
Well, this box weighs about 400 pounds. This one's not bad. I'm assuming it's the rails. And hopefully this comes apart in a couple of pieces, or we're going to have trouble getting it down the stairs.
The two boxes on top were cast iron extension tables, and that removed a ton of the total weight.
It might be straight.
Oh, it's bolted to the pallet.
We got it downstairs on a hand truck, and even with the cast iron accessories removed, it lifted me off the floor. The waxy tar protective layer was not very easy to remove and took some mineral spirits scrubbing to get it clean. But the table was precision milled and free of rust. I'd like to say at this point, if you're not familiar with my channel, I don't take on any sponsors for the tools I buy. I do the research, pay out of my own pocket, and give you as much of an unbiased review as I can. Even with this purchase, there are a couple of things that weren't great, and we'll provide that honest feedback as we go. The first issue was that the tabletop was only 34 inches tall, way too short compared to my old Delta and my outfeed work table. That's my bad for not taking note of the height difference, but without a table saw to work with, I had to create a 3-inch tall base on my bandsaw. I rocked the saw onto the base and then secured it with lag bolts inside the cabinet. Now it lines up pretty nicely to my outfeed table. One of the things I was immediately impressed with was the beefiness of the hand cranks. Each one of these cast iron wheels weighs over 4 pounds or almost 2 kilos. They installed pretty easily with a hand-tightened knob. There are access doors that install on opposite sides of the saw, and they both install with drop-in hinge pins. Pretty easy. My first real problem came when trying to install the cast iron extension wings on the table. There is a separate parts bag with Allen bolts, washers, and lock washers to fit the extensions specifically, except after first assembly, the wings didn't line up to the level of the table.
And while I haven't completely bolted this up, this has got the same problem as the other side does. Even if I lift it up and push it down, I mean, it's probably less than a 64th of an inch, maybe, a few thousandths of an inch, but it's ridiculous.
My first thought was that the outfeed table holes needed a little more width in order to drop down on the bolt.
It's off by a couple thousandths of an inch. There's nothing I can do about it. So one of the things I just noticed, and I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but I actually took a 1/2-inch drill bit and reamed out the holes, which should have allowed a little bit more play to lower this particular wing onto the main part of the deck. And it didn't go anywhere. And I was kind of surprised. But then when I took the piece off and I flipped it over, you can see the scoring underneath where the washer kind of butted up against the top of this casting. And so I'm going to try to put it back together with just the lock washers. And I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to hold it still. There's a flattened out part on top of this washer, which was up here, as I was taking the rubber hammer or plastic hammer and trying to pound it to get it to go down. And I think the damn washers are too thick or too wide.
Well, there's your problem.
So the next thing I'm going to try is to just use the lock washers or look in my stock and see if I can find washers that have the same hole diameter but are not quite as wide. The thing has to be flat or there's no point in doing precision cuts for cabinets and furniture. I can already tell that these washers were the problem. Now there's a gap here. So this is now too high, which means I can level the wing up to make it level with the centerpiece. So
After tightening and with some minor adjustments, the extension wings are now actually flush with the main tabletop. It didn't take too much more time after that to finish adding the front and back rail assemblies, where this front rectangular tube is the main track for the T-square rip fence. The dust collection port accommodates a 4-inch collection hose, and it pulls directly from a well-designed tub underneath the saw blade. The start-stop switch is well positioned on the rail too. Saw blade attachment is pretty standard, with a rotation lock button on the inside left of the saw blade. All the Allen wrenches and the blade wrench are included in the package. With the rip fence up against the saw blade, I added the measuring tape starting at the 0 position.
and for any micro adjustments, we can adjust the 2 screws.
The blade guard and vacuum attachment is also nicely designed, and the 1 1/4 inch vac hose attaches on the top of the assembly and then reaches back down to the 4-inch collection port, pulling dust from both under the saw and the excess spray on top. There are anti-bucking pawls at the back to reduce the risk of stock being thrown back at you during operation. The Grizzly also comes with a separate riving knife for work with thinner cuts against the blade. The riving knife fits easily into the channel that tightens with a wing nut inside the housing. The Grizzly also comes with an additional table insert for a wider dado cutting stack, though you'll need to remove the riving knife. As for the miter gauge, I really like the one that came with my old Delta and its preset lock-in angles. They were pretty accurate.
So one of the things I'm not crazy about, although this is a pretty heavy-duty guide, is what you have to do in order to get it shifted from 90 degrees to 45. You have to knock this little metal plate down so that the stop can move past it and get to the 45. But you have to remember to put it back up so that the 45 hits the stop. This is not, from an engineering point of view, not great, but it feels solid. It locks into the track really well. I think this will work out well. So on the underside of this T-square, there are 2 Teflon pads that are set up on a flexible piece of metal, and there are set screws behind these pads so that you can push them in or out and adjust the angle of the T, and you make that adjustment in or out and then put it back on the saw. And then check its angle. Best way to do it is to check it against the track.
For my first test, I ran a wider MDF sheet through the blade guard, normally creating a ton of dust. That worked really well, and I can see this being a great option for plywood cutting.
Does a really good job with the dust collection.
Next, I had some 2x4s I needed cut for a project, and my crosscut sled worked well with this 1.5" pine stock. I also needed to rip those 2x4s in half, where my Delta contractor saw had power issues cutting through that stock.
And I'm using a 60-tooth trim blade over here. It's a slower cut. But on my Delta saw, by doing just this much ripping of 2x4s, I've had it overheat and stop in the past, so no trouble with this guy. The other thing that I like, right from the factory, the blade was actually calibrated really nicely at 0 degrees or a 90-degree cut. So if I get this cranked up all the way to what's supposed to be 0, I mean, if you're just doing rough construction and framing, it's not going to matter if you're a ½ degree off. Some people might say it does matter. But when you're dealing with furniture and pieces of art where it must fit together, it's got to be at 90 degrees. And right from the factory, that's at 90 degrees, so well done, Grizzly.
Some other features that are worth noting: the Grizzly Model 899 comes with a 2-position aluminum rip fence for working with thicker and thinner stock. The fence is easily attached to the T-square on either side. Compared to my Delta with cast aluminum components holding the saw motor, the Grizzly is all cast iron or steel, with a beefy belt drive system and a steel worm gear controlling the blade positioning. In terms of a first review, I really like the solid build of this table saw. The weight alone provides more stability than my old Delta contractor saw, and I thought the blade angle controls and rip fence were extremely accurate and easy to manage. Compared to other cabinet saw manufacturers with the same features, the direct shipped Grizzly option was the best value for me. Not cool? I think Grizzly needs to check its parts suppliers once in a while to make sure that both packs actually work during assembly. I'm glad I figured out the problem, but I shouldn't have had to figure out the problem. Know what I'm saying?
What's your name, man? Scotty P, you know what I'm saying?
Overall, I really like this saw so far. Plenty of power with the 2-horse motor, and I underestimated the value of the weight and stability of a tool like this. With heavy stock or panels in the past, my old saw might shimmy a bit on the floor as I cut. When I bump this Grizzly or lean against it, it stays put, and that breeds confidence when using the tool. It was, after all, more than I wanted to spend, but it turned out to be less than other options with the same features. So far, 4.5 out of 5 thumbs. Hey everybody, I hope you liked the video and I hope you subscribe to our channel. Come on back for some more content. Take care.